What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since 2003 and starting to get very optimistic about this Pistons team. The Detroit Pistons have had a lot of great subplots and storylines in this year. Of course, Cade emerging as an all-star, all-NBA talent. Malik Beasley being one of the best off-season signings. Ausar Thompson coming back from his issues with health to just be an absolute menace on the defensive end. I could go on and on for days with all of the great storylines around this Pistons team, but there is one storyline about this team that I feel like is just kind of flowing under the radar a little bit because of all the other stuff going on. And that storyline is, it looks like Ron Holland is going to be a hit of a draft pick. So in this video, we're going to talk about Ron Holland's impact on the offensive end so far, his impact on the defensive end. We're going to talk about long-term, what his ceiling and what his floor is. And then towards the back half of the video, we're just going to talk about where he is against the other rookies in his rookie class and discuss if there's any other rookies in the NBA right now that I would rather have going forward than Ron Holland. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is his offense. Now, right now, Ron Holland being 19 years old, it's no secret that he is a bit raw on the offensive side of the ball. On the year, he's averaging about 6 points per game on 45% shooting from the floor. The three-point shot has not been dropping. Right now, he's at 22% on the year at 2 attempts per game. I don't have the month-by-month stats, but just off of memory, pretty much how this is shaken out is at the start of the year, Ron Holland's three was not falling at all. In the middle of the season, kind of started to come around and a few of them were going in, and as about the last month, he hasn't hit too many of them at all. The kind of silver lining there is his mechanics look very clean, and it's surprising that he's at 22% because his shot mechanics, if you were just to watch him shoot one shot, you would never guess that he's a 22% three-point shooter. You probably wouldn't guess that he's exactly Chauncey Billups or Reggie Miller, but his shot mechanics are not broken at all, so we'll talk about going forward in the ceiling in a little bit, but that will definitely be a swing skill. To kind of put a little bit of encouragement on the shooting side of things, he is 78%, 79% from the free throw line, although on low volume, but either way, his free throws have been more or less fine. I know that he missed 2 huge free throws in a game early this season against the Bucks that would have closed out the game, so maybe that kind of stuck into people's heads and made people think that Ron Holland isn't a good free throw shooter. He has been. And as far as the assists go, he's at about 1 per game. So if you're looking at the stats, see that he averages 6 points and 1 assist per game on splits of 45% from the floor and 22% from three. You might think that Ron Holland has been bad for us offensively or a big liability, but it doesn't seem that way when you're watching the games because he finds ways to impact the game even on a winning team like the Pistons as a 19-year-old rookie on the offensive side of the floor, which isn't even his strong suit right now because there are pieces of his game offensively that already work. The first one, pretty obvious, is in transition. Ron Holland can run a fast break. He is super athletic. He can control the ball enough to a degree that he can run with the ball up the court on a fast break, and he can get up, he can jump over people. And he does a great job of avoiding contact with his footwork in transition and also going downhill. He has a really nice euro that he can use to evade defenders. When he's going full head of steam at the basket, he's really, really crafty, and that's super encouraging long term, but already very good. We've seen that transition effectiveness all season, but we're already starting to see it develop more in the half court as well, because on more and more plays throughout the back half of the season, Ron's been able to catch the ball at the three-point line, make a move, and use that footwork and craftiness, that little slippery wiggliness to get around defenders and evade contact and finish. So I think the upside there is really, really good. To talk about the defense, there's really not much to say. If you've watched him, of course. If you haven't watched him, he's awesome, especially for a 19-year-old. It's really tough, though, because we have Ausar Thompson on our team. So that sets the standard way up here for what a perimeter defender for the Pistons are right now. And he's not quite Ausar Thompson level of, just insane 0.001% athlete. But he is very athletic. He is very disruptive. He stays in front of his man for the most part. Every now and again on the defensive end, he'll have an occasional rookie lapse, but every rookie does. But looking forward, I mean, defensively, he's going to be good. He's capable of guarding multiple positions. He can guard the other team's guards. He can guard the other team's wings. He's very disruptive. He can blow up plays. He works extremely hard. He has a very high motor. And there's a lot to love on the defensive end. I feel like I don't need to go too in depth on that because I feel like everybody has been able to kind of learn that part of his game early on just because it jumps off of the screen because he's so just locked in and going 100% on the defensive end at all times. So it doesn't take a lot of time of watching Ron Holland to see that he is a good defender. So to kind of talk about his long-term floor and his long-term ceiling, right now, he's already an effective bench player on a winning team as a 19-year-old. So I think that his floor is pretty high. I would say that his floor, the very worst case scenario with Ron Holland going forward, is like a 4th or 5th starter on a good team. I think that Ron Holland unquestionably will be a starting talent in the NBA in 3 or 4 years maximum. And that's probably being a little bit skeptical. I don't think there's any real world where Ron Holland doesn't improve. And if he didn't improve, hypothetically, he's already a contributor on a good team. So I think that his floor is a lot safer than probably what some people thought coming into this draft. Talk about the ceiling. That is the interesting part. Because I think that his ceiling is as high as anyone's on this Pistons team, not named Cade Cunningham. Cade is already having a top 10 NBA season. You can debate on if he's actually a top 10 player right now, but just straight up, he's probably going to make second team All-NBA, which implies that he's a top 10 player this year. So I wouldn't go as far as say that Ron Holland has a real shot at becoming a top 10 player in the NBA, but I wouldn't exactly rule it out. I mean, I don't think that it's likely whatsoever, but I think there's a real world where Ron Holland is an all-star. That's what I'll sum it up to be. I'm not going to say anything about top 10 in the league or anything like that, but yes, there's a real world where Ron Holland is an all-star, and it's not even just a matter of him like becoming a good shooter or something like that. I think that he's already shown enough flashes of doing stuff, driving to the rim and self-creating with paint touches and all of that type of stuff that even if he just marginally improves as a passer, marginally improves as a shooter, grows into his body a little bit, as most people that are 19, 20 years old typically do, I think that there's an all-star player possibility there for sure. And I don't think that's really an unpopular opinion for people who have watched him in depth this year. So to talk about, is there any other rookie in the NBA from this draft class that I would rather have on this team? Let's talk about some of the top candidates. Alex Sarr? No, even though he did torch us the other day. Probably not. He's just as raw, and I don't know. I never really saw it with Sarr, even pre-draft. I think that the offense is even further away than Ron is, and I think that if Ron was on the Wizards getting a chance to start every night, he'd probably have better numbers right now. Ricochet? Maybe. Probably not, though. I just prefer Ron. I feel like he fits the identity of this team a little bit better. Castle? No. He overlaps with Cade too much. Don't really need any more backcourt ball handlers. Anybody else? Wells? Edey? No. Buzelis, my original guy who I wanted the Pistons to pick? No, even though he has been showing some flash with the Bulls. I would take Ron Holland over anybody in this draft class going forward. I think that his combination of what he has already defensively, his motor, his energy, his passion, all of that type of stuff is already there. And just the flashes that he's shown us as an offensive player, getting downhill, using those Euros to evade defenders and all that type of stuff. I'm taking Ron over everybody else in this draft class if we can have a redraft and the Pistons are on the clock at number 1. That's just me, though. I don't know. There's nobody else in this draft class that is like mind-blowing 10 steps ahead of everybody, so I feel like that's probably okay to say. And you could say, oh, well, you're a biased Pistons fan. Ron Holland is just such a perfect Piston, though. He is such a perfect Piston. Everything about this dude screams Detroit Piston. He's the type of player that we have been asking for the last 15 years. People who fit the identity of what has won the Pistons championships in the past. Tough-nosed defensive player, and he's showing flashes of offensively potentially becoming really good as a downhill scorer. So I'm all in on Ron Holland, man. I could not have been sold harder during his rookie year. I'm super excited to see what's in store with him going forward. I wanted to make a video just talking all about that because I feel like there's been so many other bright spots with the Pistons this year that he probably hasn't got enough recognition. I think that if he was on a team like the Hornets or Wizards and getting himself 30 minutes a night right now, I feel like his name would probably be tossed around a bit more in between the broader NBA audience and community. So that's why I wanted to make this video today. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll catch up soon.